everybody, it's Sabre. Welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I've done a Dungeons and Dragons video, but we are in a new campaign with my Friday Night Dice crew, and that is the D&D group that we founded together at the end of 2019, right before the pandemic happened, and we've been playing every Friday since. Well, we just ended my campaign where I was DMing for, which was based in Exandria, but now we're in a new campaign, Reverie and Reedwell, that's being done by Sean. He's doing the DMing, and I'm finally able to try a new character I've been really waiting for. I've been planning this guy out for about a year now. Really looking forward to playing them. And this is the character right here. This is Treeline Ridge, or Ridge for short. As you can tell, they are a Tabaxi character. They are obviously a cat folk kind of person. Again, I'm going with another anthropomorphic character. I don't know why I keep doing that, but it just happens to fit the theme of the character. I just like it, it's just the way it is. They are going to be a rogue warlock, something a little different. I don't really see those two together, but there is a reason why I'm doing it that way, and this is going to be a really, really cool build on how I'll go about doing that. So this is the character sheet right here, where it is currently. We are starting at level 4. So they are 2 levels in Swashbuckler Warlock, and there'll be 2 levels in Hexblade Warlock. That's what's going to be. Swashbuckler's not yet. Of course, Swashbuckler does come in to level 3, but that's what I'm planning. I'm planning to be a Swashbuckler Rogue. As you can see from the stats, we have 0 bonus. We have 11 strength, 14 in dexterity, 16 in constitution, 14 in intelligence, 12 in wisdom, and 20 in charisma. I managed to roll 11, 12, 16, 14, 12, and 18. So with a plus 2 charisma, plus 1 dexterity, plus 2 charisma, I got it up to 14 and 20, or 19 rather. And then he allowed us to take a feat, level 1 feat. So I actually took Fate Touched, and I'll tell you why in a minute. To get the other plus 1 more for charisma, bringing that to 20. Now, the thing about Hexblade Warlocks is they actually use the charisma modifier for their attacks and damage rolls. So because of that, that allows me to use more of be the face of the party, because I do have a expertise in persuasion, being a plus 9 here. Here we go, putting a plus 9 here. And I do have an intimidation at 7, even because of the background that they had. Originally, this person, I hope my crew doesn't watch this video, but originally they were you could tell, basically a hitman for the Mafia. The Mafia was basically is the group of people that actually run the city, and they're actually basically having protection charges to help protect the city, and extra taxes to money flow into their own pockets, not necessarily the city's pockets in Reedwell, but their own pockets. And Treeline Ridge was the one that was basically making sure that the money was flowing from all these patrons and rental people like that in their homes, to make sure the money goes to them. Now, he was compensated well for this process, and he actually was able to have all of the expenses paid for, and his living quarters paid for, his food paid for, and everything, on top of, having any girl he wants at night, kind of that kind of stuff. But he finally had an awakening. He decided that he didn't want to do that anymore. And in that moment, he was met with Lurue. Now, if you remember Lurue, I actually got to do a video about Lurue. I haven't done a video of Lurue yet. I'm going to do a quick video about Lurue. But Lurue is the goddess of unicorns and kind of swashbucklers and night, the star sky, kind of like that. So that fits his rule, because he is a swashbuckler rogue. And she basically came to him to create a pact with him, which is why that's where the Hexblade goes. And that's where his warlock part comes in. And he basically promised to use his axe for good, and to basically reverse all the happenings that are going on. And he basically left this group. Now, this obviously is a very powerful group, because this is one of the top people. These are like the leaders of this whole entire city. And now he's basically turning against them to try to get them, go back against them and try to undo all these wrongdoings that's been going on. So that's basically his shtick. So basically getting back, and these are called the Jewelers. The Jewelers is the name of the organization that he's going to be going after, along with the rest of the companions, of course. That is, of course, Paul, Bailey, and Joy. Joy will be coming back with us very soon for that, so we can't wait for that as well. They do have 30, actually it should be 35 movement speed, I think. No, climbing speed 30. So you have 30 speed, but they do have a climbing speed of 30 because he is a Tabaxi. He does get feline agility, which means since I'm a melee character, I'm going to be predominantly a melee character who's using a sword. Now the cool thing about a sword is it actually was blessed by Lurue, and the sword actually, AI can only do so much. So obviously this is an AI image below, so shout out to that. If I do have somebody try to create an actual art, I'll do that well. But for now, this is a temporary art piece that kind of literally looks like. But the sword is almost like the actual blade of it almost looks like a twisting unicorn horn, and the whole end piece is made out of white, like a white gold almost, with a completely encapsulating a basket on it, kind of like Princess Bride, The Musketeers kind of sword action because it is a rapier. So that's kind of design of the sword actually. But he does have, but since he's a melee character, he's going to have feline agility, which means once he can actually double his movement speed for the entire turn. And because he's a rogue, he can actually use the dash counts. So he can actually move 120 feet in a single turn if he uses his his bonus action to dash. He could action dash as well, which means he could actually move 180 feet in a single turn, using his action, bonus action, both dash, and the regular movement dash. So he can move 180 feet in one turn if he wants to. Now, he can't use it again until he moves 0 feet in a single turn, which means next turn I can just not move at all. And then after that, he can do action, bonus action, dash, 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 all the way through and get another 180 feet, which is probably move faster moving than just standing there and not doing anything. He also gets cat claws, which, basically don't do anything, but does give him climbing speed, so he automatically can climb things. Dark Vision, of course, almost like versus Dark Vision now. So, by the way, this is obviously based off the 2014 rule set, not the 2024 rule set, the 2014 rule set. We're still on the 2014 rule set for us. He is a courtier. Obviously, he worked as a courtier because he worked with the rich people and most important people in this city. So his courtier is his background. Fade Touch, this is what I was mentioning before. That's where his extra +1 charisma to get up to 20 was. You got Hunter's Mark and Misty Step from that. So a little bit more of that on later. Obviously, expertise, because he's a rogue. It is now in stealth and persuasion. Actually, it was intimidation. I was wrong. It is actually in stealth and persuasion. I wanted in stealth because his dexterity was kind of low, but the reason why it's only +2 in dexterity because, well, he wears a breastplate thanks to the Hexblade part, so his maximum dexterity he can count is only 2. So that's why I made it maxed out at 2 for that. Plus, he gets I think the swashbuckler ability actually adds his charisma modifier later on. So later on, when he gets into further levels, he'll actually be able to add his charisma modifier on top of the dexterity modifier for his initiative. So he'll actually eventually will be a +7 to his initiative later on. So it's right now it's low, but early stages, there's only level 4, but it will rise up later for that. Of course, he gets sneak attack for being in the road, the cunning action, the Hexblade's Curse, which means it gets +2 bonus to his damage if you want to use that way. He does also have the alternate, again, Hunter's Mark in case that goes away and I can't do it again. He's a Hex Warrior, which means he can use his Charisma modifier for attacks and damage rolls. That compensates for the Dexterity only being a 14. He actually uses a 20 for his attacks and damage rolls. And the Eldritch Invocations, he has Agonizing Blast, so it's a +5 to all of his Eldritch Blast rolls for his damage. And Mask Enemy Faces because, well, he turned against the most powerful organization, one of the most powerful organizations in the city. He needs to be in disguise, so he's going around again looking like other people to stay in hiding so that way he does not get found. So that is why I did that. Again, this is the Feline Agility check and a Hexblade Curse check as well. He can cast Shield. We'll get into spells a little later. But he does have Hunter's Mark and Sneak Attack. He does have Lurue's Grace. That is his sword. That's the sword that was blessed by Lurue. It was extra sword, but it actually get touched by Lurue, which makes it actually more of a magical weapon. It does have a target with a +1 magical weapon, which can actually do other things as well with that. And also, of course, Eldritch Blast. This is his long range attack. Now, granted, it would be better if he had a dexterity roll because he cannot use a sneak attack with Eldritch Blast. Keyword there. Even though he uses charisma for his attacks, maybe I can actually talk about that later with Sean. But for now, because Eldritch Blast is technically not a dexterity attack, it is actually a charisma attack. You cannot add the sneak attack rolls with that. So that's going to be a little bit of a sticky point later on for his long range attacks. Unlike other rogues or maybe even rangers like that who actually dip in the rogue for the extra damage, he's not going to be able to do that. Right? We're going to dive into some of these spells now. For Ridge, he does have, again, Eldritch Blast and Prestidigitation. If you're going to have a magic user, you're going to use either Prestidigitation or the Druid or Cleric variations of that because it's just a basic cool spell. He does start with Shield, Hex, Veil of Darkness was the other spell I took from there. Actually, I don't think he has Hex, actually, come to think of it. I think it's a Shield and Veil of Darkness, maybe. I don't think he has a Hex, come to think of it. But he does, but I took Veil of Darkness. Now, Veil of Darkness is actually from the... It's actually from a different game. But Sean's gonna let me use it. Basically, you get a +1 to your armor, and you basically be able to roll stealth checks at advantage. So that's kind of cool. You're able to roll. So on top of being proficient in expertise in stealth, he actually gets advantage at stealth checks just by casting this one spell. That kind of helps him there. He does get Hunter's Mark and Misty Step. That is from his background, from actually his level 1 feat for being Lurue, because Lurue is a Fae. So he gets Fey Touch. That's where Hunter's Mark and Misty Step comes in. He can use it once per long rest. You can also use Animal Friendship and Calm Emotions. That's from the sword. Now the sword is going to be a magical sword that's going to grow as he grows with his faith in Lurue and as he levels up. So the sword's going to level up with him. At least that's how it was explained to me. So there should be other cool abilities that the sword will be doing later on. Hopefully some of it is increased protection or armor, because my guy Ridge the Hexblade Swashbuckler is going to be a front line. We have no other front lines right now. Joyous did say that she is going to be playing a monk, so that would be my other counterpart for frontliner. But we do not have a fighter. We do not have a war cleric. We do not have a paladin. So it's going to be really interesting of how well Ridge, who being in the front line, will do. Again, I do have Shield, which will help us a little bit, but we'll see how that goes for them. So that's pretty much Ridge in a nutshell. Again, his damage attacks later on. Now, when he does get later on, when he reaches 9th level. Again, we do see the initiative, like I mentioned before, being a +5 because he does get the Swashbuckler increase there. Now, this is Ridge level 9. This will be Swashbuckler 6, Hexblade 3. I'm going to take 3 levels of Hexblade. I don't really need 5th level Hexblade. He doesn't really do all the other stuff. And I also want to mention that because I went with Hexblade because of Fae. Because Fae didn't really work right with how I wanted it to be, and I wanted Hexblade would really work better. And he is the Blade of Lurue. That's what he's basically being called. So that kind of played better. And how 2024 does the new 2024 version of D&D, how they do it actually works better in that sense. So basically took that sense. We already talked about it beforehand, before 2024 came out. But this is kind of the concept of how 2024 is going to deal with it. And we are actually dealing with ourselves in the 2014 universe of D&D. So that's basically how that came about. So we're going to take 1 level more Warlock, but we're going to take 3 more levels of 4 levels rather of Swashbuckler Rogue. And that's going to be later on. We are going to see the Raucous Fancy Footwork, Raucous Audacity. Those are the abilities that was going to basically get us in and out of combat pretty well. Going to give us the automatic being able to use our sneak attack and like that. So when we do roll, so when we get rid of Ridge here real quick, just for a quick second, so we get the dice roller right there, and I could just roll. I'm going to roll my +1 rapier. I didn't have the name over there. Okay, natural 1. We'll just change that. Okay, so rapier. So if I have Hexblade's Curse on the target that I have, so that's going to be your proficiency bonus, so that's +4. And I do have sneak attack, because I pretty much always having sneak attack, being a swashbuckler. So it's going to be 3d6 +4. So I roll that on the rapier here. So it's going to be 16 sneak attack, 9 piercing on top of that. So a total of 25 damage on that one single attack. So not bad, 25 damage per round, per attack. And just to break down that information for us all, I do have a little bit of a data output here. So this is the 1d8 +1 +3d6 +4. That's the basic damage of the sword, plus the sneak attack, plus the proficiency bonus thanks to Hexblade's Curse. So we do see that the damage is going to average around 20, so actually high rolled a little bit. So between 18 to 22 damage per turn that they're going to be able to do. So the course of like 5 or 6 turns, they're going to do about 100 damage over the course of 5 or 6 turns. So that's actually not going to be too bad for Ridge. Right? So that's pretty much Ridge in the nutshell there. Again, he is currently level 4 as we speak right now. So he'll be increasing possibly level 9, I think was going to be the cap, maybe 14, but I think it's going to be level 9. It's going to be the cap of the campaign. So I'm really looking forward to playing them. They were on my radar for quite a long time. I think this is going to be, hopefully this will be my second favorite character to play as. Of course, Therese was ultimately my favorite character to play because that was he's been a very own character that I've had across many many campaigns over many many years. But I think Ridge is going to be a very fun character to play. I really hope you guys enjoy it and like I do. But again, he is going to be a Tabaxi Swashbuckler Rogue, Hexblade Warlock, the Sword of Lurue. Right, guys. Well, once again, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon. Probably going to have to explain who is Lurue. I'm going to break down Lurue just like I did in the Bandian, all right? I'm Sabre. Have a good day. Bye-bye.